Welcome to episode 2, officially episode 2 of the BlastCast, featuring Grimro, Elesshar, and myself. We are now 2 weeks in to Expedition League, and yeah, we just wanted to get together and talk about some of the things that have been going on with the league and stuff, what we think about the league, our thoughts, that sort of stuff. As always, what you can expect from our podcast, not pre-planned. We have literally not planned anything, but the whole point of this is just to have a chat and to figure out what we think about things. So, yeah. So, how you guys doing? What's up?
Hello?
Hello. What have you been getting up to, dude? Just a super quick rundown because people might want to know what you're up to. Grimro's already pulled 2 headhunters out of the void. Elesshar wasted 60x on a bow.
Oh no, dude. Okay, I've been playing at the start of the league. I started as a lightning trapper, and it was okay for mapping, but the single target was really bad. So I just farmed the maps, like red maps, until I had enough currency to buy gear for an ice shot character, and then I'm playing an ice shot character now. And I also made a boss killer that I duo with Nora bot, and we just insta kill all the invitations. We just go in the invitation and kill it in like 1 second. The basic setup with the assassin and Nora bot, like spark carry.
Yep.
And I've been crafting gear for my ice shot character. I bought a quiver with +1 arrows, the Void Fletcher, 55x. And I wasted all my currency gambling, trying to craft my bow. And I failed like 5 fractures in a row. And yep, I was trying to craft a fizzbow, and it's not happening. I'm also trying to craft double elevated or triple elevated boots. I'm like halfway there. And that's pretty much it. The league is pretty good for now. What have you been up to, Grim?
So I started as a Necromancer Soul Rest build, which went pretty okay, yeah. And we grinded up the currency for the second build, which is Tornado Shot. But I mainly spent most of my time focusing on the league mechanic, specifically the logbooks, which I'm sure we'll talk about later.
Yeah, first time I hear you play it.
Yeah, it's Tornado Shot. Yeah, I don't know. I've never played before. It's pretty good build.
Pretty good.
It's actually not good.
Oh no! Dude. I actually watched a video about that. Like, it made me kind of smooge. I was like, oh,
yeah, no, it's okay. Like, you gotta play what you enjoy. Probably better off going special shield thrower, but it is what it is. But yeah. Spent most of my time in logbooks and also gambling with Gwenin. But yeah, it was a pretty fun time. So far, really enjoying the league. It's a fresh one. What about you, Tuna?
It's pretty fresh. So I at least started as TR Ballistas, which is something I was like sort of tier crafting before the league. That went pretty good, but I soon realized I'm bored as hell of Toxic Rain. I played so much Toxic Rain, like hundreds of hours. So then I quickly rolled off it, and I didn't really know what to play at first, so I went to Elemental Hit. And I had like a really good bow. It was probably like a 30x bow and like really decent, decent gear. You look at it and you're like, yeah, that's pretty good. But I couldn't do red maps with it. So, so then I was just farmed white maps.
Sad.
And I was like, no, chat, listen, I'm farming white maps because I want to, not because the build sucks. I was farming essences for a little while, made some money, and then what I did is I just rerolled soon after. So Jesse was like, yo, Spectral Shield Throw is actually really good. I was like, you're trolling. And he was like, no, it's actually really good. And then I looked at the gem, and it's like 1.7k flat fizz with a decent shield. And he sent me like a POB that did 50 mil DPS. Like, that's pretty good, but this is like very unobtainable for now. So I made a POB with like obtainable, like without having like Supreme Ego and all these like mana reservation things. And then I made a video about that, and it's pretty good, and people seem to be enjoying it too. So now we're like 17% of the league is playing Spectral Shield Throw, but I think half, if not more than half, are playing on a Glad. So
yeah.
So yeah, Glad is like the reliable tanky version, cheap as well, very entry level. You could league start it, and you could also league start the Raider, but it seems like I kind of screwed up prices on that a little bit, so I'm sorry. That's about it.
How could you?
9 ads people are having.
Thank you.
So I was like, I was basically like, bought my enchant for like 1x, and then it was like 12x a week after.
I can't believe you've done this, you streamer scum. What have you done?
My extra scumbag, yeah.
How did you guys feel with the nerfs on League Start on your first builds? How'd it feel?
My build felt pretty terrible. So what I decided to do is my build is gonna suck, it's gonna be squishy, and it's gonna not have a lot of single target unless I invest a lot into it. So I decided to go for a lot of throw speed on traps, lightning trap, and projectile speed, and just try to get as much clear speed as possible. I was using 4 set and forget in my build, so I get, as soon as I throw the traps, they explode, they don't need to trigger. And if you throw the traps on mobs, they still give you charges generation from charges, traps, and mines, right? So you just need to throw them on mobs like once in a while to get the charges full. And then you have like so much throw speed, you just throw them and just run. And you just clear, like, it's kind of like tornado shot, but on a delay. It's like 360 everywhere. It's not going to be that fast because you're on a sabo, but like the clear feels like 360. You just run, throw, run, throw.
Yeah. It felt like you weren't enjoying yourself though, were you?
No, it was really squishy. And it kind of sucked against bosses. I had to like set up everything. I had to throw like traps, like lightning spire trap, and I don't know, the DPS was pretty bad. It could do everything up to T16s, but you couldn't do guardians, you couldn't do like invitations. I was just farming currency maps. That's pretty much it.
What about you, Grim? How did you feel about like going in with all the nerfs?
I mean, I had the classic 6 layers of defense, 6 portals, got to use them all, baby. That kind of approach, we got to go with that. But overall, it didn't feel too different outside of the elements. That's like the main one that felt real bad. Yeah. But after I kind of like realized that you can like combine pantheons with like the skill tree and like get an auto cleansing flask and stuff like that, it was like okay. And I didn't really feel it too bad on the Necro. So the Necro is like pretty alright. It's pretty chill. It didn't really use flasks anyway, so there's a lot of flexibility there.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it was pretty fine. What about you, Tuna? How'd you go with the changes?
The league start felt honestly really rough. Like I don't think I was really too prepared for how heavy it was gonna hit me. And I don't know, because my build only got really nerfed 10%, and on the gear that I was doing in my tests, it was like steamrolling. Like T16s, I had no problem and stuff, but going into the new league, I got like pretty much the same gear, and it was like they said like it should taper down to T16s not being exactly the same like they used to be, right? But it wasn't, right? So at least it felt like it wasn't. I don't know why, but anyways, so it felt like a struggle to progress early. So I just decided to, one of my plans was to farm as much currency as I could in lower tier maps. It was like comfortable, and that sort of propelled me into like later on making other builds that are stronger to then take on higher tier maps and stuff. I think early on it doesn't really matter whether you're in reds or whites, depending on if you're using the Alice passive. So that went really well. And the main thing that really hit me was the ailments were pretty bad, yeah, like obviously. But again, once I figured out like the whole automatic flask thing and I was clearing fast enough to keep my flasks up, super good. Because for me, automatic flasks, it's like one of the best changes I've ever experienced in Path of Exile. So I think regardless of all the shit that's been happening in this league, like nerfs and whatever, if we go out of this league with automatic flasks, like I think it was all worth it. That's if you ask me. It's that big of a change. So I'm really happy about that. And the curse change, I really don't like. I don't like at all. I think it's terrible.
Same.
It feels really, really bad. Like not being able, like for me as a raider, it feels okay. When I get temp chains, it's sort of just like, I'm slower, but I'm a raider. So I'm still faster than most builds. But, you know, like elemental weakness you can mitigate by overcapping, which is okay, but it's also kind of difficult if you're trying to min-max your build. Vulnerability feels terrible. Gotta tell you, Enfeeble is like, I roll it off. I don't even run it unless I'm just doing like a normal map, right? Like when I was doing the Delirium in Tropical Island, you get to 7 layers. You can't kill anything because I'm an attack build. I crit, so I get less accuracy. I get 20% less damage, and I get less crit as well. So it's just a trifecta. Hits my build so hard. It feels absolutely terrible. It's like I'm doing 60% less damage. So, I mean, not being able to clear the curses, I think, is one of the worst things that has come out of these nerfs. I'd be okay with like all the damage nerfs, but the whole curse thing, I don't know, it just makes... I mean, it does make sense, but they basically made like... I don't know how you guys feel about a hexproof flask, but I don't use a hexproof flask. But like, it's only Nemesis monsters give you, like, curse you, right?
I feel like it's useless. Like
it's completely
useless. A waste of a slot now, unless they change it.
Makes absolutely no sense.
I think the problem with curses is like there's not actually any like realistic solution that you can put on your character to deal with them outside of an Exterior's Reflection. Like what else are you actually gonna do?
Or the Maven Helmet.
The rings are like 30%. They roll up to 30%, I think. So like,
rings is so insane though.
I think they're 40%. They're 40%, I think, Ikazaru's.
No, like
you can get Tsuki Kazaru's
Hunter mod.
And okay.
Hunter mod.
Reduced effective curses. Yeah. I think that rolls up to 30%. So technically they're probably there sitting like, well, we did give you the means, but honestly, like with the current crafting system that we have, those are not the means, right? Like we can't just be like, oh, let me just chuck on a you know, if we had harvest, then sure, but we don't. You know, like it's like, oh, let me just chuck on a reduced cursed effect on my double res ring that I need.
I think it should probably be like a base mod, like ailment avoidance, like something similar to that. And there should probably be an ascendancy that has reduced curse effect on Sonnet or something like that.
I think
this is on the skill tree.
I think Sion has some, maybe.
I know there is a little bit on the tree, but it's like on the left side, right? It's near Templar. It's like, how are you getting that as any other class?
Yeah, exactly. It's just unobtainable for the most part. It feels like you can't really mitigate it. There's one thing that they've done in the past with like, you know, when there's a modifier on chest that's like 100% reduced affected damage taken, right? And it's a chest slot, so it's like kind of big. There's nothing like that for curses, and they introduced this change. Like, I just don't understand. I just really don't, personally.
For me, at least, I don't know if you guys run into this problem, but what it really felt bad about this patch, not necessarily bad, but like difficult, is like you got to make your like build or second build or whatever build, right? And you're like got all these things that you normally have to get, and then they make you get more damage, so you're already behind. And then you also have to get all the ailment immunity on your gear or tree. You have to get all the mana solutions if you're playing like cock or like bows needed as well now. And you need like maybe potentially even more defense and stuff like that as well. So it's like you get pulled in so many different directions, like, and like you feel like, I don't know, I feel like I just have so many different things I need to do on so many different pieces of gear and on my tree and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Would it make sense if I told you I like that?
You like that?
Like it's like a bittersweet type situation where that's the part of thing that I really like about Path of Exile, where it's like, oh, I have to get this and I have to get that, and it constantly feels like I'm working towards something, like where I have to like something I need to improve, there's something I need to do to my build for it to be better, and you know, but the issue is then like it makes it like not viable for every build to do that, because most builds just can't get that damage if they tick all those boxes, right? So then it restricts the sort of builds that you play by a lot. No.
It's pretty rough, and like unless you're playing a raider, it's kind of hard, right, to get ailment immune.
Yeah.
Yep.
And like And if you're not like okay, so Raider, first of all, if you're playing a Raider, that makes it easier. But if you can't play Raider, and imagine if you're not playing a hit build either, so you can't get the elusive boot / belt combo. It's like you're never getting ailment immune now, bitch.
That's true. I mean, I was getting ailment immune even before that, right? Like with the Ashling prefix, 20% on tree, and so that was like 30%, 20%. So that was already 50. But like without Raider, yeah, you wouldn't be able to do it. You'd have to suck it up. But then they actually reverted it back to getting 4-second immunity, right? Once you use your flasks, but that's only if you use it reactively. Playing reactively in Path of Exile, I would.
Yeah, you can put it on trigger.
But like, still, it wouldn't. Like, if it doesn't trigger when you're like burning, you know, which you've had many times this league. I know because I've had that too, where you get a massive ignite and then you just die. If your trigger doesn't go off in that time, you're just dead. So.
Because it only triggers when the ignite starts, right? So if you gain charges during, or no?
Yeah, that trigger, but that's something that I wouldn't use because then you would never have uptime on that flask, right?
Okay.
You know, like the triggers I use are use when full, one. Use when you hit a rare unique enemy, so like for the unique flasks, things like that.
By the way, I checked in the tree, and Scion has 25% reduced curse effect on you, and on the tree you can get 40, and Guardian gets 80%. But
just play a Guardian for it.
It's a lot of investment, man.
Guardian with the mana changes too, and not being able to play Archmage.
Everyone else doesn't really have anything to deal with curses, other than items.
Just wanted to make that initial segment a little bit short because I also would like to maybe ask you guys what you did enjoy, and then we can go into depth later about maybe our pet peeves and things like that. But just to keep things a little bit balanced here, what do you actually enjoy about the league?
Do you want to go first?
Okay, I like.
You go.
Okay, sorry. Okay, I like the logbooks a lot, and I like the league mechanic that you actually have to plan what you're doing. And the thing that I didn't really like much is wait, are we talking about this later maybe? Were they saying only what we like? Okay. What I didn't like is the amount of investment that you need in your build. Okay, you need to really plan your build in advance. Like if you just go in with a random build and you just try to make it work, it's not gonna work, dude. You're gonna have a hard time unless you have like insane gear. You really need to plan your gear in PoB to get. You need like to check boxes. Like you need enough DPS to do this. You need enough tankiness to do this. And if you can't reach it, you like I don't know. You're actually getting wrecked in maps.
Is that a good thing?
I guess, but they tried to make a meta shift and like, and the meta shift kind of ended up being everyone's playing the same build like Special Shield Throw, and all the other skills are not really played much.
But would you credit that to?
That's actually not true. I just want to say that not everyone's playing Special Shield Throw. I did a video on this actually this morning.
I've seen your video.
But would you credit that to like people not making the builds or people just wanting to take the path of least resistance?
100% path of least resistance. It's 100% like most people don't make builds in this game, right? I'd say probably 95% of people copy builds.
Yeah.
So until someone creates a build for them to use, it doesn't exist. So they have to just play with what's available to them, right? So
makes sense.
Like you come out with ready to cold Special Shield Throw, you smash the whole game. And like of course everyone's gonna play it, right? That makes sense. Yeah. And then if someone else comes out, like if Q-Dog's going and playing Winter Orb or something like that, and it looks badass, suddenly Winter Orb's really good again. Like that's how it goes.
I think especially this league it was very easy to influence what people are playing and why so many people are playing such a small subset of builds, because everyone was sort of desperate, including myself. Like I was like, what is going to be my big end game build? And then I see a gem that gives you 1,700 fizz that you can then convert to cold and then scale with hatred. And you know me, I start putting the numbers into the path of building, and it looks pretty good.
Yeah, 100%. No, I like. I've been saying this for a while. I fully expect like the meta and all the builds that we've like seen before to like completely come back once people spend a bit more time working on them. Like I had no idea, but Castle and Crit apparently is just completely fine without anything. You don't even have to invest in mana or anything like that. Yeah. It's like completely fine. Yeah. Apparently, you can just play it straight up. So that was kind of surprising.
Is that with Eldritch Battery or?
No, not even with Eldritch Battery. They just use Shavs, one cost breeze, and like Prism Guardian, and it's just fine.
How much unreserved mana do they run?
I don't know. I wasn't really paying attention. I think they use the Ranger. You know the one where you get mana on hit, the Ranger one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just use that, and it's like, we're just fine.
You can probably even sustain it just by using Clarity. Clarity is really strong if you level it up.
Sep. Yeah, it's Essence Sep, the one that gives you 2 mana on hit, and you use Cyclone.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, it's like fine.
That's cool, man. What do you like about the League, Grim?
What do I like about the League? I actually really, really love the logbooks, man. I think they're insanely well done. Like the amount of like attention to detail they got on there is really, really good. I gotta give it to them there. Like the bosses. I know you like the bosses too, Tuna. Yeah. Oh boy, the first time I fought the guy that comes out of the TV. Ooh, that was good
comes out of the ring.
It's basically a TV.
The ring.
Dude.
Oh no.
It's really cool. Yeah, they nailed it, and the side areas as well. They're really cool. Like they've got like little secrets in them and stuff like that. Don't know if you knew that.
I'm saving all my logbooks right now. I'm starting to farm them. You know, like I don't really like buying things that I run. I really like the sort of organic cycle of maybe FSF maybe dudes, but
organic
farming
cycle.
the logbooks.
I give you like
stuff.
20, dude.
Okay, that was earlier in the league, but now I'm starting. I got like a stack of 20. Anyways, I'm looking forward to running them.
Just how rewarding they are. Like they are like one of the most rewarding things in the game right now. Like by far, if you do the Black Scythe or the Knights of the Sun, it's like insane how much loot you get. But the thing that's especially good is that it rewards actually having a strategy and having a brain. Like that is like. If you take someone who has no idea what they're doing and take someone who has exactly what they're doing, it's like literally like 10 to 20 times the loot for the person who knows what they're doing versus no idea. It's insane.
That's what I want out of the mechanics. Yeah, that's really good. Because it's like you start off with also having no idea, and the whole point is to get an idea as you play. It's just perfect. That's what we want from Path of Exile, I think. If you're just like going in and there's 2 windows and one of them has an essence and the other one has 5C. You don't have to have a brain for that one.
Yeah, 100%. Like the other thing.
Oh god, man.
I was gonna say the other thing I like is that there's actually a realistic fail state, like which is like your own fault. It's like, oh shit, looks like I put 32 remnants on here. I guess I can't do it. And it's like actually unbeatable. Like earlier today, I put 100% block on. I was like, it's fine. I just couldn't do shit. So yeah, it's good that you have the control over the difficulty. And if you were playing like a dot build, you would have been able to do that because you don't care about blocks. So I think there's some interesting stuff there.
What happened to my first boss? Like my first big boss, I didn't even know what was going on, but it was at the very end of the chain. After I put all the explosives. And then I saw the boss at the end and I was like, I'm not gonna like go back and redo the whole chain to get the boss, so I just put it last. The guy had like 70% block, 100% reduced damage from crit, like this insane regen. I didn't know what was going on with the boss either, because it was like he spawned these portals and I had to put some explosives, and I put the explosives and nothing happened. I went through like 4 phases of him. It took like 20 minutes and I obviously failed it, but because I didn't loot first, so I basically lost the entire thing. But it was awesome. Like it was so much fun, like fighting this guy. I felt like I was doing like, I was trying to be like Yaron or like like the Abyss Watchers and Dark Souls. So I don't know.
And you got locked in the room as well.
Oh, it was really cool. Like, you know, like actually fighting a badass boss that there's no like clear win condition.
Yeah, it's really good. So yeah, I think they definitely nailed it with the logbooks, and the rewards are good. So big props there.
Yeah, they're insane. Yeah. And overall, I think the league mechanics probably the most rewarding league mechanic that we've had in a long time. Maybe in like 3 leagues, if I had to say, because like it doesn't seem like it, but then like if you place your things right, sometimes you get like nothing, and other times you get like 12 coins, and you're like, I just made 72C.
Yeah,
like,
some
from
maps
a
are
map.
nuts.
You're like, okay. Oh.
Yeah, it's definitely more rewarding than Ultimatum and Ritual and stuff like that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
For sure.
100%.
But it's not obviously rewarding to the uneducated, I would say, right? Like,
not uneducated, but like but I know exactly what you mean.
Well, yeah, uninformed, I'll put it that way. Yeah, so like, if you don't know to go for like runic monsters, if you don't know, you know, like to go for like stack decks, like and all that sort of stuff like that, yeah, you get like no loot.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's a failing on design perspective, but it's very rewarding if you know what you're doing, for sure.
Definitely. I can comfortably say that I walk out of every map for like with 20C from the mechanic on average.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, on average, yeah.
Definitely. I would say
it's pretty nuts. And it might be like you don't get anything for 2, and then you get a logbook on the next one, and then you get like 12 coins on the next one, and all of that stuff, like opportunity cost, right? You could sit at the vendor and re-roll and get your money's worth and more, or you could just put another map in and sell those things, and just that's why Trade League is great. You can create value for someone that gets more value out of something that you've created, so then you can keep doing that, or you know, play the SSF way or whatever, right? So I don't know. I really enjoy many aspects of the league. We talked about some of them already. I think it's a pretty good one. The only thing is like, how long am I gonna enjoy the league for? You know, that's obviously to be seen. I think a lot of that is gonna come down to also like, you know, because as a streamer, like I feed off chat energy, so as long as chat's excited, I'm always excited, and yeah, I think it's unfortunate that it started off to be as bad as it was, because initially, like rewarding wise, it was a disaster. Yeah.
Yeah, it was before the buff. It was pretty bad.
So bad, yeah.
Yeah, before the buff, it actually dropped nothing.
Yeah, but now it's like OP. I think for the like later on in the league, like people are starting to discover it now, but like someone in my stream was like, hey, I got 420 simulacrum splinters from one logbook. I think like pushing that angle, like really like getting into like, you know, how much can you get from this mechanic is like going to be pretty interesting. There's definitely more work to be done there, especially with scarabs. I think the highest I've heard is some guy got 82 scarabs from one logbook so far. So
that's crazy.
Can you top that? That's like the most scarabs you can get outside of like 100% deli from a mechanic right now. That's like crazy.
Yeah. That is pretty wild, yeah.
The thing about logbook that like at least for me that are really inconsistent, you can have a really good one or you can have like a terrible one. Like in your map, you can like get no good mods in pretty much the whole map.
Obviously, maybe depends on the layout. Yeah, it's 100% on the layout. Because if you go to like the shipwreck, whatever it's called, right? It's always gonna be breach splinters or scarabs, like always. So it's just completely up to you whether you get enough explosive range and radius to get like as many of those rewards as possible to then get runic monsters and stuff. So yeah,
the amount of scarab remnants you get is random though. So and like there's also a modifier called runic monsters are duplicated.
Yeah, that's insane.
It's
when I get
like
that basically pops off.
Yeah, when it doubles all the runic monsters, and obviously the runic monsters are the ones that drop the coins, the artifacts, and the scarabs in a lot of cases. So duplicating them, and then you can also duplicate the duplication with 100% more rare monsters. So like it gets pretty out of control if you stack it up like in a certain way. But obviously you need to sit there reading.
Is it like does it double? It's like it goes 2-4 and then 4-8.
I'm not 100% sure, but people in my chat were saying, yeah, like it gets pretty wild and it does kind of work that way, yeah.
Damn.
No.
Yeah, it gets pretty loose.
It's cool, man.
But yeah, there's lots of stuff to explore there. I don't think anyone's even gotten close to the full potential yet of figuring out logbooks. It's going to take a while longer, which is cool. I like that. It's kind of like synthesis in that way.
Yeah. Yeah, it is pretty cool. I'm definitely gonna have a lot of fun trying them out. Also, like, just not from a reward perspective, just trying to hunt all the bosses and do with them. I think they're really cool. I think some of the items as well are really cool, but I don't think they really fit into current PoE at the moment.
The items. So you're talking about ward uniques, right?
Yeah.
So I have all of them. I bought all of them just to experiment with them. I was like really, really sold on the Olroth flask. If you guys don't know, it's basically one which makes it so the ward doesn't diminish when you hit. Like it maintains, it's like turns into a life pool for the duration. But then someone told me that if you use it with Pathfinder, it actually makes it weaker.
The last multiplier
like,
gets killed, yep.
I was like, bruh, are you kidding me, man? It's actually no good.
Not only that, 60 out of 70 use, 3-second duration, 3.3, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
minus 70%,
keep it up.
It has 70% less effect. And if you scale it with flask effect, instead of removing some of the less flask effect, it increases. You can get actually like 100%, which is terrible.
Yeah.
So you get 0 ward.
That kind of sucks. It's like a negative synergy with Pathfinder, which actually makes 0 sense. But you know,
maybe it's genius because then you crazy you could get, right? Because it's basically just flat mitigation. That's all it is. Every hit gets mitigated by the amount of ward that you have, and that's it.
Yeah.
Literally all what it is. It's like it doesn't diminish, so it's you make your ward big enough. You could technically be like immortal.
I mean, yeah, it would be like really strong for sure. But you know, like, come on, let us have it. Come on, Chris, what the hell? But what is the other one? There's like the other flask which gives you 10% exposure, which is like it's like okay. It'd be better if it was like an aura around you, but it's like when you use it, which kind of makes it like it's like okay.
It would be absolutely insane if exposure wasn't so easy to get otherwise.
Yeah.
You think about it, like
really,
it's
really
like
easy.
10 pen on a flask. You'd be like, it'd be insane if you couldn't just be like, we have conviction.
Yeah.
Or like
I
here.
I think the other notable one for me was the Chaos one, the Chaos Gloves, where you can convert ward into damage. There's not a ward chest piece or anything like that, so it's like it's so hard to get a high amount of ward. There's a ward chest piece base.
Global defense is skill ward, yeah.
Does it actually skill ward?
Yeah, it does.
Okay.
But then when you're wearing a skin loyal.
True, you lose like so much damage.
Skin loyal is plus, you can get a plus, you know. It's only good, mainly good for spells, but yeah.
Yeah. That seemed vaguely interesting. And then there's the adrenaline boots. I don't know if you've read those ones.
Yeah.
But
I don't think you can have good uptime on those, right?
Nah.
Can, yeah.
It's
like when I first heard of them, I was like, yo, is there a way to actually get perma adrenaline? Because that would be obviously absurd, right? But nah. I couldn't figure out a way.
You have to like damage yourself to break your own ward and then restore the ward, and it's kind of like just like weird, right?
Yeah.
But yeah. I think the uniques should have been a little bit more powerful, but obviously they're trying to reduce power creep, not increase it. So I get it.
I think they just brought us down so they could bring us back up, but I don't know how they're gonna go about it. It's a difficult situation they find themselves in, because I know they obviously want to improve the game, but reception of it has been obviously, as you know, probably like been the worst I've ever seen out of any league ever. And that's because people feel like you know, they had like a toy box, and you've taken their toys away now. Just left with the box, and then you're just gonna drip feed them more toys, which is, I suppose. I think it's just it takes a lot more effort to play with those toys, but the toys are still there. Personally, that's how I feel like it is. Except half of the toys are gone, to be fair. Some things are just nowhere near viable compared to others. To be honest, like a lot of builds, you just can't play it, man. Eh?
I thought that as well. I actually did think that, like in in one of my videos I made, I was like, Cock's dead, and then someone sent me a video of it just smashing. It's like, it's the exact same. It's like, what's going on here? I don't actually 100% know. So yeah, it's a bit of an interesting situation, but I guess that kind of segues into an interesting question. How do your second builds feel? Do you feel the nerfs, or does it just feel like just straight up old PoE, like normal business as usual?
Yeah, business as usual, but Spectral Shield Throw is just broken. So
really?
Okay, so for my second build, I played bow character, which are usually pretty weak for bossing. So the build feels pretty much the same as it was feeling the other leagues. It doesn't really have a lot of DP single target. And then I respec my first build into a boss killer, and I duo with a support, and literally just insta kills everything.
That's what I know about though.
Yeah, but it's actually broken. It can insta kill feared everything in 1 second.
That's just getting probably adjusted, I would say, before PoE2, or it's like I don't know, something's gonna go in with the aura bot, I would say.
Call Neon, he's crying.
Honestly, dude, like, I mean, you can meme me up as much as you want, but like after I got some gear on the character, it honestly feels like exactly like before. Like even the flasks feel exactly the same. Using unending chalice with enough density.
It feels so much better, man. I don't have to click them. I don't have to look at them. Now when people ask me like, why are your flasks going automatically, I can just be like, flask macro.
Yeah.
And it's in the game, bro. It's so good.
The other thing you do notice is you actually do notice the adrenaline nerf, in my opinion. You probably don't, Tuna, because you've got the freaking boots on, and you're a raider. But as a Deadeye, you feel the adrenaline nerf 100%. You do feel it.
Yeah, you do feel it.
I haven't even rolled Alchemist on my Quicksilver. I've had the same flask since day 2.
Yeah,
Raider just doesn't care, man. It's faster than all your builds without even fucking pressing it.
Yeah, so it's ridiculous. 100%. Raiders broken.
Flasks are so much less impactful than they were last league. Like the 8% move speed, you can just roll another immunity on the flasks, to be honest.
I actually don't agree with that, Elesshar. So I'm using Cinerswallow and Dying Sun.
Okay.
Dying Sun's the same. It just
I'm using that. I'm using that as well. Less. It's really good.
Yeah, it's no different. It's the same flask,
yeah, I know.
right?
Are you using the increased duration enchant or no?
No, I'm just using it on auto cast because I got a decent amount of juice.
Like a true champ.
The
flask enjoyer.
The Cinder Swallow. Cinder Swallow, if you roll it with life, it's the exact same. Once you have enough juice in the map, like when you're like doing a legion and stuff like that, it goes off multiple times a legion, and you just it's like really good still. So I don't know. It is unfortunately exactly how Reddit painted it. It's like it's not really too bad early on if you pick a good league starter. It's bad in the middle though, and then it's not bad at the end. Yeah. It's really bad in the middle though, without like the gear on your second character.
When you hit early maps, progressing to T16s, and then you get into reds, and you're just like, like every map is like 2 portals down. Damn, it felt really rough at the start, man. Even with like relatively broken build like Toxic Rain. When I say broken, I don't know if anyone's from GGG's listening. I don't mean like fix it. I mean like it's good. Don't touch it. Just buff the other shit, please. Don't nerf it.
Like on my first build, when you went back to like white maps and I stayed in red maps, it was such a struggle. Like on first build, just doing red maps. If you roll some bad mods, you just get wrecked.
Yeah,
it's so annoying.
Elemental Equilibrium is toxic, dude.
Yeah, it really.
So much damage loss.
40% LE res?
Yeah.
I don't know. It feels like that, dude. It feels awful.
40%. I think it's 50.
Yeah, it must be. And then like if you get like I when I'm doing Deli, I have to roll off Monster Life even. Scaled up to with the Awakener bonus, it's like 70% Monster Life. I get to the end of the map, I just can't do it.
I couldn't do the lead mechanic during 3 maps at the start. It was too hard.
It was pretty difficult, yeah. Toxic Rain kind of had a really easy time with it, I gotta say. Put your ballistas down, run around, kite them. They were really tanky though. And they hit way too hard, by the way. They hit way too hard.
They hit really fucking hard, yeah. The obelisk guys, the arrows, oh my god, too much.
That's probably our fault. Because we put remnants ourselves, but at the same time, I think they need to really chill out with that stuff, yeah? Like, getting a little bit out of control, like, how unmitigatable a lot of this damage is. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, I definitely think that there's especially when you get like those real outlier cases, like I'm sure someone's had it where they get like one of like the obelisks and you put remnants on them and they have Soul Eater and they ate like 20 souls and like it just you walk in insta-dead. It's like just undoable. It's like actually bugged, it feels like.
The shield boys are pretty toxic too.
Oh yeah, that's so annoying.
I didn't even know about them until I swapped off TR.
Yeah.
And then now there's just like sometimes like a wall of them coming at me and it's just like a wall. And like the way that they turn is I go behind them and they turn instantly. They don't even have like a swivel animation, you know?
Yeah, it's
literally just like boom. Like okay.
Some of those mobs can also like off screen you. I was used to playing on widescreen. I could see like way further away. Now I'm playing full screen because I have to stream. But like if you play on widescreen, it's so much easier to avoid stuff. Now like they actually off screen you, some of those mobs. It's insane.
Yeah. That's always happened.
It's pretty ridiculous.
That's always happened. Like Legions. Didn't you see Dan's death? No. Like Dan's character is insane, obviously, because it's Dan. He pops a Legion and he's like 3 screens away and just like 1 arrow, boom.
Like, it's pretty toxic. It's because of the way the auras interact with rares. They need to make it so that like they don't stack like that. It's like stupid that like if there's like 3 mobs and they all have a fizz aura and they all multiply each other, it's like why? Just make it like unique or something like that.
Exactly. Well, they're gonna do that next week, and then maybe the HH nerf things are gonna be.
Oh shit! Yeah, actually, good point.
Yeah, they're gonna hit 8 Headhunter for sure if they do that change.
Oh,
make the auras unique, 1 aura each. That Headhunter actually 20C.
Yeah, 20C unique, dude.
Nah, to be fair, the stats, you know, maybe 1x.
Yeah, what? Maybe like almost an X. Yeah, true.
I already honestly think in leagues like this. That's like whatever. Fun.
I actually don't agree with you there at all. I think Headhunter's broken. When I'm using it, it feels so good. But maybe it's because I'm farming like Legion and stuff like that. It's like insane.
If you're farming Legion, it's obvious. You get like a burst of 25 bots. Yeah,
Metamorph is like crazy.
Yeah, Metamorph is crazy.
Yeah. Okay. So it sounds like the game gets pretty chill once you have all the gear on and it's like back to business as usual. So do you think that that's a bad thing? Like do you like that? I don't know how to even frame that because a lot of people obviously are dissatisfied with the fact that it's so hard to get to that point. And I kind of agree. Like I would much prefer that mapping was a little bit smoother earlier on some of these, like, juicer characters, I suppose.
I'd be okay with that, but I'd like something there. Like, I'd be okay with it to be like to get if it were easy to get to the point where like I feel like there's sort of like a timeline when you play Path of Exile. There's like league start. There's like progression, like Alice progression, getting your stuff set up, and then just farm. So there's always those 3 stages, and for us, obviously, it's pretty accelerated because of how much we play and maybe how much knowledge we've accumulated. But essentially, like once you get to the farm, that's pretty much it. It's GG. Like it's just about keeping pumping your currency into your character, make it better and better, and then eventually find a new build, right? So I think this cycle, it could be easier to get to the farming stage, but I'd love for there to be a stage after, where it's like a challenge stage, which is why I love Delve so much. But Delve For me, I've just played it too much. So, what's Delve 2? That's what I want. I want Delve 2 with better scaling and remodernization. You know.
No, I agree. I think if I had to point out a few points where I was banging my face on the table basically as a player of this league, it would be the final round of watch zones to get to Cirrus where the monsters become dominated. I hate that stuff, man. It's dreadful. It's like Castle Death Portal City. They feel incredibly unfair. I don't know if anyone else feels like that, but Cirrus dominated mobs.
They're horrible.
No, that's gonna be no from me. And then the other point, the other point is when you're like at that inflection point where you're on your league starter and you're trying to get off it to get onto your second character to do like the fun stuff like Legion, Flash Breach and all sorts of stuff like that, and like Simulacrum or Delhi. And you're just trying to grind the currency up to get to that second build, and then you like try and swap early and it sucks, or you have to spend extra time. That kind of point. That's like big. And I know a lot of people always tell me in chat that they're stuck at that point as well. So
that's what happened with me when I went Elite, right? I went into
exactly
red maps and I was like, "Let's go, my new build's Pog," and then I just got smashed and I couldn't kill the bosses. And I was like, yellow maps, they're pretty good. I'm just gonna farm some essences for 2 days.
Yeah, see that stuff. That sucks, dude. You shouldn't be able to like roll like 50 or 60x into a build and then have it suck. What do you mean, man? That's not good.
But I think it's also okay to farm lower tier stuff. I think there's a lot of like new tools that we can use, like Atlas passives and wash stones, that you can use that it make it completely fine to just be like, let's just stay in T2 maps, or not T2 maps, sorry, yellow maps, for like a couple days, so I can afford some big upgrades, and then bam, then I can funnel all that into like a build I know is going to be strong, and then smash time.
The problem is though, and you probably have this too, Elesshar, is that the mindset of everyone playing the game right now is like, oh, I gotta get my middle Atlas points, dude. I gotta get full watch stones, gotta get all this, that, and the other. It's like this big rush, and it's like no one's like willing to just sit in white maps and farm anymore, right? That's not like how you play the game by most people's standards.
No. That's what I was doing on like day 2, and Tuna was like in white maps, and I'm like, oh no, I need to get the Atlas passive. And Tuna is just chilling in white yellow maps,
making currency. I'm like, yo, this is great, dude.
Portaling every map, 6 portals to get my passive. And Tuna was like,
I hate my
10C, dude.
Yeah, like per map. Just making 10C per map. Like, yo, I'm chilling, dude. It was great. But also, like, I feel like you shouldn't have that. Like, it's okay not to complete your Atlas. The bonus completion is not even that important. If you're sustaining maps, who cares about your bonus completion? If you're not sustaining maps, just buy them. Like, but obviously that's a problem for another time, because I don't like buying maps when I get to end game farming stage. But if I'm like early and I just want to like, I know I can make like 3 times the currency back from buying a map, I will do it, because early the only point is as much as you can.
Yeah, 100%.
We all know how you hate the favorite system. It doesn't work, Tuna, for you.
I don't like current Atlas in the farming stage. I don't like having to overly interact with trade to do the content that I want to play. Personally.
Yeah, I think they could definitely change that up a little bit as well. For sure.
Like, you remember how we were playing Promenade for like 3 leagues, and everyone was doing it, right? That's just because we're all the same. We don't like buying maps, so we just horizoned our T16s into Promenade. It was literally just that simple, and it's not because we all loved Promenade. I think most people were like, I'm sick of this map. I don't want to do it. But you're still doing it, because it was like, it was either that, or you're doing lava chambers into a cells, into a necropolis, and you're like, I fucking hate my life. Like, this is not fun, you know?
I don't know. I think that no one's really I know it's probably a cap out, but I don't actually think anyone's really figured out how to really leverage the favorite system that well yet. Like still, I'm sure there's someone out there like laughing their ass off saying, haha, I've got to figure it out.
No.
But I don't know. I think if you set up 4 areas and you triple favorite the maps in the different areas, like you pretty much sustain all of those 4 areas like in layouts that you want. And you bounce between them.
That's what I do, and I don't. I always
You don't?
run out.
Okay.
No. I always run out of the ones that it's because you can drop adjacents, and adjacents are way too likely to drop. And I don't know what's going on as well currently with the map drops, but my entire Alice is obviously socketed. I have favorites. League Mechanic is dropping me white and yellow maps. Legion's doing it the same. And it's funny because in the past they said they fixed that. And they shuffled the Atlas and starts happening again. Like, I know it must be really difficult. Like, they got some spaghetti going on in the code or some shit, but like, man, seems like
I'm not getting enough maps.
I'm getting too many maps, just not the ones that I want, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And
I get a lot of the maps I want, but yeah,
just not enough.
Sure.
Like personally, like
from one day of
T14
mapping,
especially impossible.
From one day of mapping, you get over 200 maps sustaining. Like you sustain like over 200 maps, and then you have to sell them to buy the maps.
To buy the ones that you want. Yeah, exactly.
It's so annoying, man. Because
that's my
to
issue.
First sell it, and then you have to rebuy back the one that you want to run. It's actually so annoying.
I don't know. I haven't bought bulk maps at all this whole league, so.
What maps are you running though? Maybe it's because I'm like running like Tropical Island. T14 is impossible to sustain.
You can't do 214 yet. I don't know. I just do like, what do I have? Let me bring up the game. So I got.
Like, are you actually variety mapping though?
Yeah, Primordial, Tropical, Mud Geyser, Waste Pool, and Plateau. Those are my favorites. 5, and I sell the tropicals to noobs like you.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I stopped farming Delhi because I stopped wanting to buy them. I was like, I'm sick of this. I already have to buy four types of scarabs to buy the map on top. Like, I just couldn't be bothered. So now I'm just doing T16 Underground Seek because I can Horizon it.
Yeah. I definitely think the Horizon orbs are really, really good. I think that mechanic's good, and I'm glad they kept it in. What do you guys think of the new skills? Any new skill enjoyers?
I haven't been able to play them yet, right? I mean, I would look at SST as if it were. I know it's not new, but it's like revitalized, and I really hope they don't nerf it because I think it's good, but it takes a bit of love to get there, and I think everything else should come up to its level.
Yeah, I'm not sure if they're gonna nerf it. I think that they probably will, along with Forbidden Right, because that's also a very, very overtuned one.
Yeah,
Forbidden Right is crazy. You have to invest like not too much, and it's just nuts.
But that one's just because it just allows you put it on a totem, 6 totems down or whatever, and they all every single projectile overlaps.
Yeah.
So
and. Also, it derives damage from how much life the totem has, which is stupid because that's like 20k life with like clusters. I guess the other one that popped out was Eye of Winter. Lots of people have been using that on lots of different things.
Yeah, I've seen.
Yeah. Have any thoughts on that, Elesshar? Yeah.
I haven't played it, but it kind of looks like a better Icicle Mines if you put it on Mines.
Yeah. It's primarily with the interaction between Hydrosphere and the new skill. Have you seen that? It's basically the GPU melter.
I haven't.
It absolutely melts your GPU, dude. So, for those guys who don't know, basically, if you use the Guardian of the Hydra ring, you know the one which gives you free chain on spells?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you put the Hydrosphere down, and then you put the thing down, and all of the stuff coming out of the orb all heat sinks to the Hydrosphere, and then all goes straight into the boss. It's like it's like insane and like completely melts your computer. It's awesome.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's really strong. People are doing it on Miner. They're doing it on Cast on Crits. And then a few people are doing it on Handcast as well. I think Dan's Gaming was doing it on...
Dan's Gaming.
Uber Dan, sorry. Uber Dan was doing it. was doing it, dude, on hardcore, so it looked pretty good. But yeah, very strong. My bad, wrong Dan.
Yeah. I would really like to actually to try that for sure, but I don't want to play a minor. Definitely don't want to play a minor. I went to trade with someone last night.
Trade as well.
Yeah,
Burcock with it. Yeah, there's lots of stuff you could do with it.
I went to trade with someone last night, and he was like, "Yo, how did you feel about the icicle days?" I was like, "I hated it." Like, oh, never mind. I was like, "Wait, but go on." He's like, "Because I'm playing minor, Eye of Winter, and it's just so much better." I was like, he was like very excited to tell me.
Yeah, it's a really cool skill.
Yeah,
very, very cool. It's got reasonable numbers as well. I'm trying to remember what else there is. There's like the standout ones, right? What else is there? There's like
love to make the flash.
The mana one on the ground. The lightning mana one.
Yeah. You go for the flash one first. I got a bit to say about the mana one. Go, Tuna.
Well, I'd really like the flash one, but there's not much to say about that. You just can't scale it. It doesn't have scalability because no weapon, like attack speed, whatever. Your flasks, like, come on, like it's not gonna.
I don't know why they didn't. Why did they disable Hollow Palm for it?
Yeah, why did they disable everything for it? But one thing I really want to say is, I would love to play Spectral Helix, but its mechanics is the dog shit. Like watching people play it, I've been like going into people's streams like, please make it look good. I want to play it, and every time it looks terrible, man. He's just like he jumps and then the monsters around him like walk into them, and then like he jumps again, and then, it's so bad. And the MTX doesn't make it any better, dude. Like it looks flashy, but it looks like flashy trash.
It's basically like incredibly scuffed Blade Vortex.
It's so bad.
It's worse than melee, man. The mechanic looks worse than melee. Because usually when you're melee, you just go in the pack to just one tap it, right? Yeah. With the Spectral Helix, you go in your pack, and you need to like cast them multiple times for the Helix to just run around and eat the whole pack.
The thing is, it does so much damage as well. Like I think they were just like, well, it's like got these scuffed mechanics, but it does incredible damage, right?
Yeah, the damage looked good.
I think that the hammers should have just circled your character or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, I've said that so many times, and everyone in chat always goes, "Forehead, it would be Blade Vortex then, wouldn't it?" And it's like, no, like just because something follows you around doesn't mean it's Blade Vortex. Does that mean that like, like Vortex chill, like the cold one? Is that Blade Vortex? Like, does that mean that like Dead Souls is Blade Vortex? Like, come on, man. RF is RF Blade Vortex? Like. It's just like a good mechanic having something following you around to deal damage. And the way that you scale it is completely different. Would be completely different to BV. The way that you play it would be completely different as well.
Yeah.
Like having to like actually keep a big stack around you, right? And maybe you'd like invest in skill effect duration, potentially even like want to slow down your projectiles so they're like, maybe if they have like a hit rate or something like that, like then you could just keep them around hovering. Like, do you know what I mean? It's like, it's really interesting. Like, because it's a projectile skill gem.
I think that now people are scaling it with projectile speed. It makes the mechanic better if you have a lot of projectile
if it goes really fast. But if it followed you around, maybe you'd want it to go slower, right?
Yeah, if you go slow, if it follows you.
Do you know what I mean?
So
like,
they stay longer. Yeah.
There's so many cool things that you can do with it, but it just missed the mark because it's like some circle and you leave and it's not around you anymore. Where you could just use double strike.
Not good. It's not good at all. Yeah, I think it's just shit Spectral Throw. I'll say it.
Yeah,
it's like
Spectral Throw is great though. Mechanically, it's a great skill. It's just numbers wise, it's not fair.
Yeah. And then we got the Mana Bond one. So this is actually potentially a build, kinda, I guess. So the idea behind it is you go like Hierophant or something like that, and you get like 10k mana, and you use Indigon, and you stick it in a Mjolnir, and basically it says like you get 35% of the mana you're missing as like flat lightning, and then obviously that basically double dips with Indigon, and you get that for free with Mjolnir. So like, I don't know, it looks okay. Probably someone can make it like decent, and it'll probably be a build. People are trying it out right now, so it's definitely got potential. But yeah, we'll have to see. That build is so bad to play. I tried it. Well, just
Arc feels better.
Unlucky. I don't know. It looks reasonably interesting, but it remains to be seen. Looks like you probably have to tweak it a bit. And the other one I want to talk about is Reaper. Unbeknownst to me, someone linked it to me today. That shit slaps.
The minion.
People using it to level.
The Reaper minion. It actually slaps if you play it as bleed. The guy had like 60 exalts invested, but he was like one-shotting everything.
Okay.
It's crazy.
But it's
like a 9-button build.
And it's also slow.
Yeah, it's clear didn't look good. He was using Asenaths, but it's like a single target nuker. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, single target is insane. The thing about it is that it's like the AI is a bit janky from what I heard and what I've seen.
Yeah, I've seen Rutus as well play it, and the AI looked terrible on mapping. From what I know, I think it's just good for single target.
Yeah, like insane. It'll like apply like an insane bleed.
Yeah, like you literally like watch the the boss is just dead. It was crazy, but yeah, it's pretty interesting. I'm trying to remember what else is there. There's like new skills.
A minion build with 60x invested looks okay. Fog.
Otage. Yeah.
Stormrain.
Yeah, I think Stormrain. I think that's seriously underperformed as a skill, honestly.
Yeah.
The problem with Stormrain is it's like marketed as like a single target like destroyer, which it probably will be if the boss was a totem. But you put like all these beams down, right? And then the boss is like, yeah, I'm moving out of this shit. And then you lose all your damage. You're like, no, so bad. So yeah, it needed to like slow or stun or something like that in order for
From what I heard, I think that Stormrain is good only if you put it on Focus Ballista on the ballistas.
Right.
I tried it.
You know how Toxic Rain, the boss can move out of your Toxic Rain pods, and you're like, fuck.
It's terrible.
This is like that times like 4. It's like way worse.
Yeah. Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, it's pretty rough.
Rage Vortex actually looks really good for single target. For mapping, it's like, but for single target, Rage Vortex is insane. I think I've been watching Manny play it. The main issue he's been having with it is that it doesn't perform well at all. So I guess that's an issue that I'll have to fix. But Rage Vortex apparently looks pretty good, and he said it's a strong build, and he was playing it with war cries and stuff. Not my playstyle, but strong skill.
I think one that people are sleeping on is Blade Trap. Actually, did you see the buff they did to Blade Trap? It's traps, I know, but it's like massive. It's
stationary traps.
I don't know. It is huge though. It looks pretty interesting, but yeah, I think outside of that, there wasn't really any other standout ones for me so far. Yeah. Is there anything for you guys?
That's pretty much all of the new skills, I think.
Yeah.
Toxic Burst, I guess. Some people are testing it out.
I actually don't even know what that skill is.
It's the one that like you have to like cast, and after a few seconds it blows up.
How do you make that work?
Okay.
Just stack restoration, so it's instant. What you want to do, basically.
And what, use it like as like cock? You play as cock or something like that?
Yeah, or self-cast or mines.
The Bad Blade Vortex.
Self-cast would be like you click it and it just goes boom if you have enough restoration.
Yeah, I don't know. 2.5 seconds is a lot to reduce, man.
Yeah, it is. Especially considering like restoration is like already a multiplier. So.
Yeah, I think it's pretty rough to make it like really strong. I actually have no idea how you would make that good. Maybe if you use the ring that changes the thing from you to be on a target that you hit. What is it called? Fury Valve or something like that? No, it's not that. Astral Projector.
Yeah, that one.
Oh, like
and
Nova,
like you play like
you
like cast it on the enemies. Maybe that's like okay. I don't know, but yeah, it seems like a bit of an interesting one to build around. But yeah, I think the one thing I'd finish this off with is that the actual endgame meta is reasonably diverse right now. Like, if you want to play Warb, you can play Warb. If you want to play Cock, you can play Cock. You can play pretty much all the old builds, and Stacking Wonders there, all the bow builds are there.
You have to invest twice as much.
I don't know,
not twice as much,
but
40% as much, at least. Well, like, the thing is, like, they took away 40% of our damage in most elemental or crit builds, right? And investment does not linearly scale with damage. Getting that extra 40% damage is going to cost you a lot more than 40%. For the most part.
Yeah.
Especially if you're not like an overperforming skill like Spectral Shield.
Yeah, and that's the hard part, especially because they also hamstrung crafting with Ashling. So it's like, oh man, this sucks. Because Ashling was really good. It's so much more expensive to make a lot of the items. Like the boots most builds want are like, okay, that makes it so much harder having to do the stupid prefixes now.
I mean, it's gonna cost you like on average 4x more, I think, and 1 Aisling more.
Unless you're me and you miss it 5 times.
That's like 8 exalts more, or something like that. Depends on the price of Aisling.
I missed it 5 times, Grim. Get ready.
Do you know who I am? I'm the guy who pulled the head on at a Gwenin, dude.
True.
String of RNG, dude. Nah, I mean, I'm sure I'm gonna miss it like 17 times for sure. And I'm gonna be trusting Chris Wilson every single time. Oh boy. But yeah, I think skill diversity definitely not up, probably down, but overall you still can play quite a lot of builds if you have the currency to invest. That would be my assessment. Don't know about you guys.
If you have the currency, yeah, but on a low budget, I think like everyone's playing Spectral Shield Throw. From what I've seen.
Yeah. Yeah, there needs to be more entry-level mapping skills for sure. Like
that was my point at the start. If you don't plan your build really well, you're going to have such an hard time on a low budget. On a high budget, you have like way more freedom. But like, if you want to just start with a random skill and you just want to play the game, you're going to have such a bad time now. You actually need to like really, really plan your build. Or you're like, my Lightning Trapper was terrible. It was just good enough for mapping red like T16s, and it couldn't do anything else.
Yeah, I think they there's a lot of ways they could go about it, but they do need to introduce like some more accessibility to items, like good items, and solutions to the problems that they've shoved in the game, like M1 immunity and stuff like that, and like damage. But I don't know. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
Are we gonna talk a little bit about crafting? Because they're trying to add some ways to get good items through ROG and stuff, right? But I tested him, and like for now, I only got like 2 usable items in like 200-300 rerolls or even more. Everything else was like kind of terrible.
Obviously, you often hear about people being like, "Yo, I got this insane item," and it's like, yeah, you can get insane items. There's also people that pull mirrors out of rituals, and people that pull headhunters out of weddings. So, I mean, like, obviously it can happen, right? It's not like out of possibility, but problem is, it's not that likely. Like anytime I try to do it as well, it's just like I get good suffixes on. I'm like, yo, sweet. The suffixes are actually good and they're workable. And then the next one says clear all suffixes, and I'm like, no. And then I skip it, and then the one after that is like clear all suffixes. I'm just like, I want to continue.
You will clear all suffixes.
Take it or leave it. It's like, man. And I'm like, fuck it. I clear them, and then I just take an empty item.
Yeah, I think he's I honestly I haven't used him at all. I'll be honest with you. I don't use that NPC. He's too hard. My brain is too smooth for ROG, so I just don't leave it. I just leave him alone.
Yeah. So basically, if you don't get an influence early on in the craft, it's close to impossible to make a good item unless it's like a weapon and you're going for like high PDPS and stuff like that. I only seen one good item that someone linked me. It was like a 3T1 Fizz axe, the good mods that it can give you is like upgrade the tier. So if you start with like an axe on a good base, and you get like good fizz to start with, and then you just upgrade it, you can like actually get a really good fizz axe, for example, like a fizz item. But on rings, amulets, or anything else, if you get an influence, other than day 1, day 2, you're not gonna like sell the item, or like no one's gonna even want it. And even if you get the influence, you actually need to be lucky and roll the item. One interesting thing about Rogue, when it says reroll the item and it keeps the best one, I think that influence mods are considered the best one. So when you reroll, you can get like actually multiple influence modifiers.
Apparently,
so I think in the late game,
tiers, right?
It depends on tier, but I've had people like that PM me with items, and they're saying that when they do reforge, keeping the best one, I think like every time you get like 2 or 3 influence mods, like a lot of the times. I had a ring that gave me T1 flat lightning to spells and attacks, T1 flat cold to spells and attacks, and T1 life gain on it from spells, which is 3 really good prefixes, right?
I don't really understand what best means though, and who like.
Yeah, we don't know.
I've heard people say that like best doesn't mean highest tier, right? Imagine you have like T1 stun and block recovery. I'm pretty sure that's not like better than T5. You know what I mean? But it's counterintuitive.
There's also another really weird thing when it says remove the lowest modifier. If you have like a mod pool that is like T1 to T10, and you have like T5, for example, that is a middle tier, right? But if you have a mod that has like 3 tiers, and you get like, or like 2 tiers, and you get T2, that is considered the lowest, even though it's a T2 mod, and the T5 is gonna like not get removed while the T2 is going to get removed. It's like really weird how it interacts.
Right. Yeah.
It doesn't count the actual like lowest, like T10 or whatever. It counts the lowest in their tier range, from what I've seen.
I think, okay, so with Rogue at least, and actually every mechanic in Path of Exile, I'm just going to go out there much, is the developers have no idea how good the mechanic is most of the time. 99.99% of the players have no idea how good the mechanic is.
And a few people can ultra min max it to be crazy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, not that. It's literally down to like probably like a handful, like, or 100 players to actually figure out how the hell to use something and then spread the word, right? Like, so
hopefully.
Honestly, Rogue. Well, yeah, hopefully. Like, honestly, Rogue could be the best vendor, but no one's figured it out yet, right? Have you actually sat down there with Rogue and like spent like 300 or 400 rerolls yet, Elesshar?
Yeah, I did.
You did? And you think
like,
you still think it's trash?
I probably used like 200, 300, yeah. I haven't had anything good. Like, I got like 2 items that are usable and one that was okay. Like, at least.
I try to make jewelry with them, but it always feels like I'm too restricted by bases, because the bases in there are just always kind of bad.
Yeah, but like, let's say you can get like 300 rerolls, right? That's 300 C, right? And you just roll like X 100 amount of times to get the exact bases you want, and you just craft on all of them, and you've got a 1 in 10 chance to make a really insane ring. Like, then suddenly it's worth it, and you get a 10x ring or something like that, you know? Like, that's how you have to look at these things. Like, I made the same argument about Gwenin before I tested her. So my argument with Gwenin was that if I could tell you that you could get a headhunter on average in 2,000 rerolls right now,
then there's a price tied to it,
yeah, it's like, it's completely insane then. On average, 2,000 rerolls. You know, everyone would be buying Gwenin dice. But it's just impossible to actually know until, you know, everyone rolls up and throws their data into the bucket like they did with Ancient Orbs.
Yeah.
And lo and behold,
makes sense.
When Ancient Orbs got figured out, they skyrocketed because everyone was like, oh, obviously you buy them at this price because this is the chance. And honestly, Gwenin could be like that right now. I still don't know what the chance to get a headhunter is. No one does. But I'll tell you what, a ton of people message me constantly every day saying they get one off a like headhunter. So I don't know. It might be more common than you think. I bet you it's better than Ancient Orbs.
The thing with Rogue is not only it's RNG, then you need to get like the right base in your like in your window. Like if you get a really bad weapon, like a 1.2 attack speed axe, for example, even if you get like really high PDPS, it's not gonna be as good as a better axe with like a siege axe, which has 1.5, right? Yeah. So you need like the base to be in your window. Once you get the base in your window, it needs to start with usable rolls somewhat, or you need to get lucky when you start rolling to actually get like good mods on the item, right? So there's like so many RNG layers that it's really hard to like check if it's actually good or not. It's not like you click on the item, you get the Headhunter out, and you like know on average how many tries you need. On Rogue, there's like so many RNG layers involved, and also there's like the skill of the player that needs to choose correctly, the choices correctly. So there's so many layers, and I think most people don't want to do it because of that.
Can Rogue sell Stygian Vice? I don't think he can either, can he?
No.
I don't think. I've never seen one, no.
I've never seen Opal Ring either.
I have seen Opal Rings.
Okay. I guess they're just incredibly rare.
I've seen two-tone on him.
I haven't seen Vermilion.
I haven't either.
I mean, I don't use him that much. I saw two-tone though. But yeah, I understand what your point is, Elesshar, for sure. I think they actually said they were like going to make it a little bit more easy to understand what mods are getting added and removed in a patch note.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Yeah, so
I mean, it's definitely a great vendor for solo self-found, right? For early gear, it's actually really good. But if you like you're in a trade league, it's really, really hard to make an item that people would actually buy for like over an X or something like that. Especially since they added like smart loot on some items now, I think.
Don't you remember in the last podcast, I literally said this exactly. It'll be good for the start of the league, and then it's just going to be like, why would I waste my time?
I actually think Rogue's the weakest one now. I used to think it was Gwenin, but just from anecdotal evidence, like obviously she is basically Headhunter, like straight up. She's a Headhunter Ancient Orb vendor. I think she's stronger than Rogue now. She has a lot of more monetary value, I would say, than Rogue.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
You gotta be willing to spend a lot of time sitting there re-rolling, though.
You actually don't, because of if we all agree that she is like an Ancient Orb, then the currency becomes an Ancient Orb, right, to the community. And people want to buy the Ancient Orbs, right? So you can just sell them as Ancient Orbs to someone else.
Yeah, fair.
But yeah, I don't think we're there yet. We need she's gonna be good probably like month 2 when everyone's like tried her out heaps and people have quit the league rolling 5,000 times and stuff like that, and we know how common it is.
Someone needs to collect data, I guess.
Not me, dude. I've done my time. I did 3K. That's me done.
For the rest of the crafting, Aisling pretty much works the same as we predicted. The only change is that now Aisling, as far as we know, it never adds 2 mods. It can only add 1 back. They removed the line from the bench with a chance of adding a second modifier.
I actually didn't even know that.
2. They removed the mod on the bench. And if you try to use Aisling on an item and you, for example, craft can roll attack mods before unveiling, the unveil does not respect metacrafting, but you can block using the same mod pool. So, for example, you craft attack speed on your weapon and then you unveil, you will never be able to get attack speed. But if you craft can roll attack mods, you will not block, for example, crit chance, accuracy, and attack speed.
Yeah.
So you can only block by same mod pool, not by metacrafting.
Someone asks, then why would you use Aisling Bench instead of Veiled Chaos? Because you can actually say, like what I'm trying to do right now on my shield, which is I have 3 good prefixes. I want 1 last good suffix. So like I'm gonna try to get like a T1 res or something. Then I can do prefixes can all be changed. So my prefix can't get touched. And then I Aisling so that it has a 50% chance of removing the prefix cannot be changed craft, and add a modifier as my 5th mod to then finish off the craft with a crafted suffix. So it's a 50% chance to actually be able to finish a 6 mod item, which with Veiled Chaos Orbs is impossible unless you just Veil Chaos, unveil, slam, and then craft.
Yeah,
Or
so
Craft and
basically,
Slam.
Veiled Chaos now is one Chaos Orb, and one of the mods that you get is a Veiled mod, right?
Yeah.
And Aisling is one and all plus a Veiled mod exalted on the item. So if you have it does respect Metacraft, like prefix and suffix can be changed. So you can like actually finish items. It just takes an extra step because you need to roll the fourth mod, the fourth mod after you finish either prefixes or suffixes. Then you try to roll for the fourth mod, and you need to roll it twice on average because half of the times it will get removed. So yeah, you need to do one step extra.
Oh boy. Okay, so just on that, dude. I don't know how many people we have in here, but type 1 in the chat if you have no idea about any of this shit. I have no idea what you guys are talking about, man.
What do you mean? Tuna followed half of Tuna's chat knows, dude. We talk about this every day.
No idea what's going on, man.
Half of Tuna's chat knows, bro.
I would wager 90% of people who play this game have no idea what you're talking about, man. It's actually, I mean, heaps of people know, obviously, because this is the Juices stream. But like, I honestly think crafting is like just it's getting way too 5-head. The only reason I can craft anything is because I watch your videos, Elesshar.
I like that. I thought you were speaking Italian. I think there should be like different stages of crafting. I think finishing a 6-mod item shouldn't be easy, but the difficulty of it right now is it's not right. Like, it's not the kind of difficulty where I can build upon something. It's the sort of difficulty that's like, let's just keep throwing 2 exalt, prefix cannot be changed, craft and reforge, harvest, and go for tier 1. I'd love to be able to like incrementally work on an item, sort of like how Harvest used to do, but even Harvest was not implemented well.
At least Harvest made sense, right? You could like add an augment, like augment a resistance, right? And it's like, okay, that makes sense, man. Augment chaos. I could get chaos res. I could get any chaos mod. That makes sense. With Ashling, it's like this, like I get that you can see what you're gonna get, but like some of the crafts, like Eleshar's like, yeah, you're getting movement speed. I'm like, why am I getting movement? It's guaranteed. It's like, oh, okay, why is it guaranteed, dude? It's
95% chance to get the movement speed if you don't block anything, and if you block something, it's like 99%, right? Because there's 3 tiers of movement speed, and if you look at the mod pool, which is basically like, you know those numbers you see in PoEDB, how it says like 2,000 or whatever.
Yeah, I know the weightings. Yeah,
you add all of those together, and then you divide it by how many fucking weights the movement speed has, and that'll be like the chance of rolling one of them, you know? And so that becomes like essentially the weight.
The thing, I spoke about this with my chat as well. So the Path of Exile crafting system is based off a game called Median Excel. It's a mod for Diablo 2, and it's based off the shrine system in that game, right? I think that they're like, hey, that's a cool system, copy paste, and they did that, and it's like, I don't know, man. Like, I feel like we can do better than this. I don't know. That's just my opinion. Yeah, it just seems it's like pretty obscure crafting system.
There's some things that like Last Epoch does well, but I think Last Epoch makes it too easy, personally. What Last Epoch does that's good to make it hard is something that's like sort of annoying without trade, which is like dropping the item that you do want to then start crafting onto is like pretty much impossible. But sort of being able to chip away at an item and slowly improve its quality through like kind of deterministic means is cool, but obviously like the fact that it adds instability is a way to mitigate everyone having perfect items, which is a good way to go about it. But I think Path of Exile, with the developers that are working on Path of Exile and like how good the game has become already, like, you know, it's the game's crazy, obviously. But yeah, I think they could come up with something better, and I just think they haven't been able to, because right now things have become it's just like, I don't know. They're adding too many modifiers into the pool. Things are getting way too muddy. Achieving what you want to achieve is just way too complicated.
Starting some item, it feels like a slot machine. You're like, Throwing 1,000 dense fossils on my shield until I get 3 T1s.
I'm okay with that though. I'm okay with starting with the base being like that. But then to finish the last modifier or 2, right? That's when it becomes like, instead of throwing Chaos Orbs at it, now I'm throwing 1x Reforged Suffix.
And it's like Awakened Mirrors at it.
Yeah, and I just went through like 25x in 15 minutes doing that. And that doesn't feel good. Because I still have T7 Dexterity. Suffix.
I don't know. I think something like, you know how Rogue can upgrade a mod and an item? That feels really good. You know, maybe there was a currency that could like upgrade a T2 mod to a T1 mod, which didn't brick your item like a Maven Orb, would be pretty pog.
Yeah.
Yeah. If it costed maybe a lot to like counteract the fact that it's so good, maybe really rare. Like something between an Exalt and a Mirror, maybe, and it just upgrades your mod.
That would be insane, though, right? That would be just pure insanity. But maybe it'll be fun. I don't know. I think, I don't know. I think that there definitely needs to be some sort of middle ground, because most of the people consuming this game is like they'd probably like to be able to get in on the crafting as well, but it's pretty difficult to access right now, I'd say.
Like, I think fossils used to be much better as well. Like they're just nerfing like the ways that are accessible to make decent items.
Like we're all like sitting here talking about Ashling 4, bro. Most people don't even get an Ashling 4. So what do you mean?
Yeah.
It's like, come on, man. It's like, fossils. Yeah. Grim is a casual handy. True.
Actually, I feel like fossils is a good system. Like, it's really good to get decent items just using fossils.
Yeah. They used to be so much better though. And they weren't even broken. Well. Pretty cool. Harvest Reforges too, they're pretty cool. Yeah. It's just like my pet peeve is like, as you guys are saying, like, making a base is fine, I think. Like that should be the really, really hard bit. But like also like it just feels bad when you get to the stage where like 1 Chaos Orb equals to 2 Exalts, which is basically what it ends up being, right? Like you have to do prefix cannot be changed and then reforge.
Yeah.
And
okay.
When it comes to things like, because it's not like I'm trying to get immense power as a suffix. I'm just trying to get some resistance. Otherwise, I can't use my item. Now I have a perfect item in my bench that I can't use because I'll be at 40 cold res. That's a kind of a feels bad, man. A little bit. Oh.
Is there a world in which, like, let's say you knew how to use Rogue, right? Elesshar, like, all right, let's use this as an example. So you know how to use Rogue. Is there a world in which you're like, shit, man, I really need a ring for my build. Let me use Rogue. Is there any world where that's the thing?
Rogue would be amazing if you could put your own items in there, imagine.
It depends on how much currency you have. Like, I don't think you would ever go for like a Rogue, like actually like SSF Rogue. I don't think, like in a trade league, it's really unlikely, I think. If you're like in SSF, you could get something usable, but in a trade league scenario, there's like infinite amount of things you can do better than Rogue. Like you can use fossils, you can awaken, you can Maven. No, you can't Maven, my bad. You can awaken, you can like harvest, you can metacraft, you can Iceling, you can add build mod. Like there's so many things that having like the perfect RNG on Rogue with the right influence that you need, with the right base that you need, everything, it's like almost impossible. I would never use Rogue. Like for a SSF upgrade, like for yourself, just for like an item that you use, there's no way you'll get it.
Yeah,
you might make an item that is usable for someone else, and you sell it for like maybe 1 or 2x. That's completely fine. Like you can do it if you use enough rerolls, but like just to, like for your build specifically, it's really unlikely.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what they come up with in the future then, because obviously Rogue was another experiment of theirs, which has, for the most part, seemed to have not hit the mark. But yeah. I guess, any other thoughts on any of the other vendors, like Tijen or something like that? You guys got any thoughts?
Tijen's really good. Danig is really good. You can get a lot of logbooks from him. I got like 6 or something yesterday.
Those are very black and white, right? They just give you stuff.
Yeah. How many rerolls? Yesterday I had like 10 rerolls or something. I got 6 logbooks from
10 rerolls.
Yeah, I got 2 in
You got
one,
lucky,
2 in another one, and then 1 in 1.
That's insane.
Like I kept asking Tuna currency. I was like, "Yo, Tuna, can I get 250 more grand things?" I got another logbook, and then he's like, "I'm just gonna put the whole stack in the stash. Just take it."
I used like 10 rerolls and I found 0. So your mileage may vary, obviously.
Yeah, I think it's about 1 in 10. That's what I've heard from people. Like 1 in 10 is like logbook.
That's also the reason why there's 6C, because you get the coinage. Like that currency is very worth it, by the way. You get the coinage, and then once in a while you get a logbook. So it costs 6C each. That means that every reforge you're gonna get like around 60 back anyways from the coinage, and then 1 in 10 you're gonna get a log. So it's
yeah.
Straight.
I think all of the vendors that actually use like their profit to do like sit down with the currency and do it, but it's whether or not you enjoy that content, right?
I just want to kill monsters, man. So I enjoy about PoE. Kill monsters and upgrade my build. Just what I really love.
Yeah. I think overall thoughts on the patch. All right, boom, go Elesshar. Overall thoughts right now.
I like it. I just wish that they brought up the level of the the skills that are not as strong. I think they need to level the field a little bit between the really good skills and the bad skills. Other than that, I think it's fine. Like the patch is good. The league, the league is kind of rewarding. It's pretty rewarding. There's a lot of thoughts into it. It's not like you just go into the map and you just get the reward from ritual, or you just kill them up, get the loot. You actually have to like place, and you can like choose stuff. It's like, I don't know. I just think it's just better than the leagues we had in the past.
I agree. It's not like it's kind of like loot pinata, but you have to put a lot more thought into. Like it rewards putting thought into stuff, which I think is a really good thing about a league mechanic. In the past, it's just been a no-brainer carrot and stick approach to making people play. And I like that they took this approach.
I think, at least from my perspective, logbooks A+, vendors B-, map content C probably is what I would give the league mechanic itself.
Map content is the same as the Atlas expansion, though.
No, I mean like the expeditions and maps.
Oh, right. Yeah, fair.
They don't really have too much spice. They kind of just spam monsters.
I guess, yeah.
I hate placing them one after the other, man. And then you go to the side, and then you're like, oh, there's a logbook thing here. And you just click this back thing. Start again. One thing that I'm like, made.
For sure. I think they could have tuned up the uniques way more. Ward could have been way stronger. That's kind of like a gripe of mine. And then nerfs, I think,
they need to settle down a little bit.
Yeah, I think that they probably want to take a break with the nerfs next league. Otherwise, we might have some trouble.
I think like damage-wise, the nerfs are fine. They didn't need to nerf like quality of life stuff. I think they should have left us with the ailment immunities, with the like the damage was a good enough nerf to make the fight last longer. At least at the start, like the first few days of the league, where most of the people play. And I don't know, man. I feel like nerfing the curses, like the flasks removal of curses and the ailment, is just a lot. Everyone's trying to adjust to it. It's a lot, dude.
So you're telling me you don't think that the Swift brand 80% duration reduction was reasonable? You're telling me that? I cannot believe it, Elesshar.
Yeah, like who's playing brands this league?
Yeah, I don't think that was reasonable. Like that, I said quality of life stuff though. Like,
I mean,
that's quality of life. It gives you less duration on your brand. That's pretty quality of life.
I know. Wait, isn't that bad?
Yeah, because you need to recast it every pack and you can't recall it anymore. You can't just place them, run, and recall it every second with high level enhance, empower, recall, second wind. And
remember how I had a spreadsheet? I of how to hit the breaking point of 20 activations when 2 brands were attached within the duration. Now with the 80% less duration, you probably need like 700 cast speed to hit that.
I'm talking in the context of solo play, right? I'm not talking 6-man Snap.
No, that was solo play.
I think. Yeah, I know. Snap's like, it's good in 6-man. It's like, oh shit, everything's good.
Yeah, in 6-man is good. Everything's good, dude. Even 2-3-man, everything's good.
I mean, if you look at brand representation, it's pretty low. So it's kind of like, I don't know about that enough.
Like I was a brand man. Remember, you're like, I'm playing brands every league, but now I don't want to go close to them, man. They were already like, there was just a fine balance between assassin being really good, power charge stacking being obviously insane, being able to convert that lightning damage to cold, for stone brand and stuff, getting you double dipping with both wrath and hatred, very good. My character was pretty squishy, but it did well because brands mechanically like kept you safe. But now to get enough damage to actually still be safe or relatively safe, your character just goes down to like having 2.5k HP, what you've been seeing people run. So it's like, because obviously the damage multipliers and everything, you just hit it so hard, and crit being so hard to scale, also assassin being incredibly nerfed in comparison to what it was. It just compiles, and it just makes these builds just feel dog shit, basically. And have to sacrifice everything for damage. I think that's bad. You're just pushing softcore players to be like, just like, it's not fun to run around with 2.5k HP. And you tell me like, oh, but people are killing Maven in hardcore. They're playing like 3 builds, man. Playing like SST. What else? What else are they playing? Like, that's it. Glad. Like, obviously there's a little bit of build diversity there, but like, it's like you're making it so hard to get good defenses.
I think it's not even the defenses being hard. I think the mobs scale so hard, they should just tone down the base damage or the scaling of the mobs. Because since you get one shot, even if you have like, I saw Rutu playing his build that is really good. He has good damage and like 6k HP and good defenses. If there's like a few mods that stack up together, they can just one-shot you. It doesn't matter how much HP you have. So like, I feel like the mobs scale way too hard. So what people in softcore are doing, you just completely remove the defense and just go for damage and try to kill the mobs as fast as possible before they can react and kill you. But if instead they just remove the damage from the mobs, like a lot of damage from the mobs, so you would be able to actually tank it, but maybe like keep it still scary if you stack like really, really hard mods. Like, people would actually build defenses and make actual good builds, because defense would matter and it would feel better to play if you don't die every 2 seconds. I think they just nerfed everything, all the damage, without thinking about nerfing also the mob damage. So they want to achieve like a game that you actually interact with the mobs and you're actually like fighting. But if the mobs are overtuned, I don't think that's achievable. It's kind of like going in delve, low depth delve, and you get one shot by everything. What's the point of building defense?
You mean deep delve? Yeah.
That's kind of my point.
Yeah, exactly. GHP is a symptom of mob scaling, damage scaling in Path of Exile. Like, I know this is a bad thing to say, like, everyone's gonna Diablo Mega LOL, but you don't see people playing ZHP in Greater Rift 170. It just doesn't work that way.
Yeah, I mean, games are all about problems and solutions, and right now the problem is mobs one-shot you and they have a shitload of HP and it's really hard to get damage. So of course, solution is to sacrifice everything for damage. So that's just the solution.
Yeah, that's the easy solution. Yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
you should
change the game.
Now there's no GR 170. Does it look like I played Diablo? I played Path of Exile, dude. Alright, played the obviously superior game. Like, you should take that as a, you know.
Yeah.
Right, sorry about that.
No, I think sounds like the overall kind of consensus here is league good, nerfs. That's what I'm getting.
Quality of life bad.
Yeah, well, set build, absolutely.
Well, quality of life, man. Automatic flasks. I'll take that any day.
What about the curses, though? The curses, like, I don't know, man.
If I had to choose curses back or having to press my flasks, take the flasks.
I actually still I have automated my flasks, but I still press them myself because I'm too used to it. Dude. So I still use them manually.
I like, dude, my hand used to be in pieces. My left hand is chilling. It's actually so nice.
Yeah. No, I think it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. I'm interested to see if they patch anything else or we hear anything else from the team before 3.16. Hopefully we do, please. Would like to hear what they're going to be doing differently next time.
Let's do a podcast in 2 weeks, by the way. This time it was like scoffed.
Wait, what?
It's like, we need to schedule the podcast as well. That just came to mind.
Oh, yeah.
I interrupted you, sorry, I'm like brain melt.
Oh, I was just finishing up. I was finishing up, dude. It's late.
Yeah, exactly. So as well, I was like bringing that up. We can tell the boys that maybe we have another podcast in 2 weeks. You know, not the next weekend, but the weekend after that. We can do it on Saturday again if you guys enjoyed the podcast.
Yeah.
Come back for
I'm down.
This one was a little bit scuffed because it's like 4 a.m. for Grim.
It's 6 a.m. now, bitch.
6 a.m. Yeah. Now I've been streaming for 11 hours, so I'm sort of brain melted as well. Sorry, I couldn't fucking, you know. But yeah, I think that's about sums it up. And yeah, thank you guys for chilling as always. Thanks for coming on the podcast. Oh, thanks chat for hanging out. I don't know if we missed anything, but if there's any afterthoughts, any questions or anything,
next time.
Chuck them quick. But I think Grim wants to go, so.
Oh, I'm sleepy, dude. Yeah.
I think we'll just cut it there then. Next time we'll do a Q&A, alright, chat? Cool. Mana multipliers. I feel like the mana multipliers are okay now. They're not that bad anymore. After they like sort of nerfed them a bit.
Yeah. Alright, well, thanks for having me. I'm out. Yeah.
See you later, Grim.
Bye, chat.